What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I want to make a video talking about variants. I want to create a variant guide for every progressing player that still haven't had a chance to check out the information about them, still haven't had a chance to really thinking about starting to play them. So in my opinion, the first question that you're going to be needing to answer is, when is the time to start playing variants? When should you focus on variants? And in my opinion, so there are 3 points in your progression that you should consider starting your variant progression. First one, and that's something that I tell every new player, you should be looking to get uncollected title as fast as possible. So getting uncollected, defeating the collector here on chapter 2 of Act 5, this should be your main goal. You should do that because it gives you access to so many better crystals. You get better rewards. You also have access to uncollected event quest, which will help you a lot in terms of speeding up your progression. So you definitely should do that first. You definitely should get the uncollected title first. And then after that, you're gonna be maybe looking at your roster and deciding if you have enough champions, if you have good champions to go all the way and complete Act 5 until here, until Ultram on Chapter 4. You're not really thinking about exploration just yet. In my opinion, you should maybe you could consider exploring chapter 1 because it's very easy. If you have the champions to get uncollected here, you should get the champions to explore chapter 1. There are a lot of quests that you need to complete there though, so maybe not just yet, but that's something that you can consider. Depending on your roster, you can go all the way and complete chapter 4. Also, if you feel like the quests are easy, if you look at the paths on each one of them, chapter 3 and then again chapter 4, you can go for exploration, but in my opinion, the second point that you should be looking for is getting completion of Act 5 because it gives you access to a 5-star hero crystal, a fully formed one, 5 tier 4, tier 2 alpha, and then you get a few more tier 4 CC, and hopefully that will allow you to get a few more rank 4 5 stars, or even depending on where you are, if you already have maybe a few tier 4 tier 5 Bs, you can even get a rank 5 5 star or even a rank 2 6 star depending. And then again, the third point in which you are again assessing your roster and maybe deciding whether or not you want to continue on act progression is getting the Cavalier title, getting chapter 1 complete, defeating Sentinel. So this would be, in my opinion, your third goal in terms of act progression, because again, getting Cavalier will give you access to a lot of crystals that are better than the progression that you had before, which was uncollected. It will give you access to the Cavalier event quest as well. So these 3 points in progression that I just mentioned, after you complete chapter 2, after you finish completion of Act 5, or if you complete chapter 1 of Act 6 and become Cavalier, these 3 points of progression is where I would consider if instead I would go and do variant content, because of the reasons that I just mentioned, and also because if you go to variant content, you're going to be also having access to a few resources that will help you in act progression if you're not quite there yet. So you have 6 different variants, and if you were to consider the most difficult one or the easiest one to start your variant progression, which one you should be looking for, it will really depend on your roster, which champions you already have, which ones you are comfortable playing with. A lot of people can usually say that variant 4 is a good one for you to start. I, however, am not completely sure because this Deadpool over here, or in the second quest, chapter 1, he can be very tricky. You're gonna be needing maybe a few specific options. Ghost is very good for that fight though, so if you have Ghost already ranked up, it needs to be a 5-star. If you know how to play her well, then this fight becomes a lot easier, and then potentially variant 4 is your first one that you can start doing. If you have Ghost, she's also going to be very good for variant 3, so maybe you can look at variant 3 instead. Depending on your other champions, if you're a champion, if you have a lot of XL champions, maybe you have a Venom, maybe you have a Sentinel, you have Thane, so those are very good for variant 2. That could be an easier one, even though variant 2 has a few tricky fights, but if you want to just go for completion, that could be a good one. I usually say that variant 5 and variant 6, they have easy paths for completion. Like you can, with maybe not that developed roster, you can do completion for both of them. However, the PI, which means that the health pool and also the attack values of these two variants, they are usually higher than the PI that you're going to be finding on variants 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you may look at that as well and reconsider which one would be easier for you to start. In my opinion, you can use 4 stars at rank 5 in variants 1, 2, 3, and 4 because, as I said, the PI isn't as big as variant 5 and 6. You can still use 4 stars for those ones, but it's a trickier fight. You're going to be feeling the damage on your block a lot more. The fights are longer. You can still do it, of course, if you're a skilled player. If you already feel very comfortable with some of your 4 stars, you can try that. Maybe they will be just helping out your team. You have 2 to 3 champions, 6 stars as a 5 star that you rely on, and then a few other 4 stars just to complete a few fights. That could be also something that you can consider when choosing which variant to do first. Also, one thing that you can consider doing is, let's say, variant 1, which most people usually consider to be the hardest one just because there are so many criteria that you need to fill to be able to complete it. You can, let's say, for chapter 1, which is a chapter that you can only use mutant and skill champions. Let's say you have a few skill champions already, a few mutant. Let's say you have Omega. Let's say you have Nick Fury and Blade, for example. Let's say you have those ones already in your roster. You can just do chapter 1. Don't really worry about completing the variant. Get the resources. Just get the resources for chapter 1 completion, or even exploration maybe. If you're able to do that, that's good, because then you have more options in terms of champions that you can rank up later that will help you with the other variants. And then after doing chapter 1 of that variant, you can go for variant 3, maybe do a completion, all chapters, not exploration just yet, but maybe you are able to do the completion. So you don't really need to worry about completing one variant straight away. You can work through chapters. Let's say you have the good options to do chapter 1 and chapter 2 over here, and then maybe you want to skip completion, full completion just yet, go to another one, same thing, until you find one where you are fully able to explore, to complete, and then maybe explore even. So one thing that I skipped, but I feel like it's going to be good talking about, is each variant over here, they are themed. There are some sort of either a restriction or something that gives your champions a bonus or a downside. For example, let's start with variant 1. In this variant, each chapter will only allow you to choose from champions of a selected class. As I said, chapter 1, skill and mutant. Chapter 2, you can only select from tech and mystic. And for the final chapter, you can only select from science and cosmic. And that's usually the reason why most people consider variant 1 the hardest one. It's because there are a lot of requirements. You need to have established roster already, champions in basically all of the classes. Also the nodes, they make that variant a little bit trickier. When you go to chapter 2, however, to variant 2, I'm sorry, it's not really about a restriction, it's about a bonus and a downside. You can essentially use any champion. The thing is, for example, let's go into one quest just so I can show you. Depending on the size of your champion, he's going to be glancing their attacks. And so you have these two nodes over here, which means that your champions are going to be glancing hits. But depending on the size of your champion, if it's an extra large, he cannot glance. And that's usually why variant 2 is referenced as the extra large variant, because usually you want to be playing extra large characters because you know nothing's gonna go wrong whenever you enter a fight. But you can use large champions, you can use even a small champion if you want. The thing is, you have to look through this node over here and realize how the fight's gonna go. You're gonna be glancing some hits and then you're gonna be taking some damage back because of the other nodes on the micro reflect here, for example. So it's a tricky variant to do without extra large champions, but there are a lot of champions that you're gonna be able to use just using heavies that will help you through a few fights. Going on to variant number 3, on this variant you again can use any champion, but champions that are not from the tech class, they suffer a 50% attack reduction. And on the other side, champions that are from the tech class, they cannot have their ability accuracy reduced. So most people end up using tech champions. That's why it's referenced as the tech variant. A lot of the tech champions are going to be amazing for this variant. Doesn't mean that you cannot use a champion from a different class, but you have to keep in mind that they're going to be having their attack reduced for this variant specifically. For variant number 4, so what happens here is on chapter 1 you can only use 6 stars and 5 stars for the first quest. On the second quest you can only use 5 stars. When you go to chapter 2, only 4 stars for the first quest. Second quest only 3 stars. Chapter 3, the last chapter, you can use 2 stars for the first one and only 1 stars for the last quest of the variant. So it's not a hard variant because most likely you already have a few 3 stars or a few 4 stars ranked up. You can use your 2 stars later. So it's a good variant, an interesting variant that allows you to use your entire roster. And the nodes are also not that complicated. Only thing that I will tell you is you need to make sure you did not sell your 2 stars and your 1 stars like before you decide to jump into this variant, because you're going to be needing them, especially Hulk. There's a path over here on this. I'm not going to be able to enter because I don't have 1 star selected. There's a path over here on the last quest that you really need to have a Hulk 1 star. Moving on to variant number 5, in this variant you can only use, and here there is a restriction again, so you can only use Mystics and you can only use Spider-Verse characters, which also includes symbiotes. So again, in this variant it's all about having the specific champions to be able to even start a quest. Variant number 6, here no restrictions, but however in this one you are going to be wanting to use villains, and let me show you over here real quick the node on this variant, because whenever you're using a non-villain like a mercenary or a hero, you're going to be suffering a degen. It's a degen. It's a source of damage. So you can check over here that the damage cannot be prevented, it cannot be reduced. So really you want to be using a villain for this variant in order to avoid that. That being said, you can use heroes, you can use mercenaries whenever you need a synergy piece. Let's say you want to enter that variant with Ghost. So you can have Wasp on your team, which will help in your synergy. You just know that Wasp will most likely not be very helpful when completing any fights in the quest. So that's it in terms of how how each variant works, um, the theme throughout them all. So in terms of rewards, I would say that definitely variant 5 and variant 6 they have the same reward structure because they are the newest ones. They are a little bit harder, but harder for exploration, especially maybe not completion. Completion, you could say that they're even easier because of some of the nodes. But in terms of rewards, they're definitely the better ones. You can see that you also, for completion, you already get a rank 4 to 5 star gem, so that's pretty great. You get a T5 CC when you get exploration done. So those two are very good in terms of rewards. Variant number 2, variant number 3, and 4, they also have the same reward structure. You get a rank 3 to 4 5-star gem, which is pretty good for completion, and then you get the 4 to 5 for exploration. You can see that the rewards are different from 5 and 6, but still a very good set of rewards. The first variant that was released has like a smaller pool of rewards, but still pretty good. This didn't change. It's the same thing compared to the other one that I showed you. So the other thing that you need to keep in mind is these variants, they for exploration of a chapter, they offer a specific year rank up gem. So you have the 2015 3 to 4, just like I showed you, for variants 1 and 2. For variant 3 and 4, this allows you to choose from a 2016 as well. So you can use, I'm sorry, so you can use that gem for a 2015 or 2016 champion. When you go to variant 5 and 6, you're gonna be able to see that these gems, they actually become generic. They're not crystals anymore, which is awesome. And you can use 2017, 2016, and 2015 champions. So 2 variants for each year. Hopefully variant number 7, when it comes around, we're going to be able to choose from 2018 champions as well. So these are some very important info regarding gems when you are maybe choosing which variant to do first. Another thing that I want to talk about is regarding dual crystals, because you're going to be able to see that a lot of people usually target dual crystals to maybe get a Doom, maybe get a Nagun, which is fine, makes sense. But you can also be targeting your dual crystals whenever you know there's a champion that you feel it's going to be very helpful when tackling one of the variants. For example, if you know you are able to maybe consider starting variant number 3, you're definitely going to be targeting the dual crystal that has tech and cosmic, because it's going to be able to give you a lot of options for this variant. If you want mystic, definitely, if you want to tackle variant number 5, definitely mystic and science, because also Spider-Gwen is in there. It's going to be very helpful for this one. Mystic and Science is also very good for variant number 2 because you have all the Hulks, you have Sasquatch, you have Mojo, you have Dragon Man, they are all pretty great. For variant number 1, of course, you're going to be targeting the chapter that you need champions the most. Very good that chapter number 1 you have Skill and Mutant in the same crystal. For this one, Tech and Mystic, you're going to have to decide which one you need the most. Same thing for chapter 3. Variant 4, you can't really decide what to do in terms of dual crystals. Same thing with villains, but maybe you want to target Tech and Cosmic because Venom and also Sentinel are in there. So it will be very good for variant 6. It will be very good Sentinel for variant 3. For variant 2, Venom and Sentinel are great. Venom is great for variant 5. Both are pretty great for variant 1. So you have a few options. There's something that you can definitely think about targeting your champions, the champions that you feel like it's going to be very helpful whenever you decide which variant is the one that you're going to be looking for. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's a lot of info that I decided to share with you for progressing players. players are starting to consider when they should look at variants. I feel like it's a great piece of content that allows you to get a lot of resources. Another thing actually that I just remember that is very important to say is you probably want to start looking at them the first chance that you feel like you can, because using gems, all of these gems that I just show you guys, is amazing. Whenever you use them for 5 stars, you where we are right now in terms of progression in the game, you definitely want to save your resources for 6 stars. You definitely want to save your tier 4 Bs to take a 6 star to rank 2, your T2As also. So if you have the chance to get a 3 to 4 rank up gem here, it's a lot better than using that to take a 5 star to rank 4. Also, even better when you get a for exploration of some of these, when you get the 4 to 5, because then you save your tier 5B for your 6 stars. This is very important. That will allow you to rank up champs faster, will allow you to speed up your progression. In my opinion, you definitely want to look at that and try to save your Callus for rank up and your rank up materials, all of them, for 6 stars. In my opinion, I feel like that's going to be a faster progression for you. That's it, guys. Please leave in the comments any questions that you have, everything that you want to know. I will help you out. I'm gonna be releasing a few guides for each specific variant. Also, I'm gonna be releasing 6 guides throughout this week. So drop a like in the video and subscribe if you want to check those out. Don't miss on this great opportunity for you guys to get some info and figure out which variant is going to be the best one for you to do next. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much, and see ya in the channel.